Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code Elevate21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this episode is brought to you by Boba Coffee, smuggling good vibes. Boba roasts their coffee beans each week and only offers the freshest coffee. They have espressos, lattes, cappuccinos, pour over, or drip coffee. You can try their cold brew coffee, nitro cold brew, or bulletproof coffee, and boba milk teas. They also have a wide assortment of delicious food. I would suggest you try the avocado toast, mimosas, wine, or beer. On the weekends, you can check out some great music like the Soto Six and food like Eliza the Shelf and others over the weekend, every Friday and Saturday, beginning at 6 p.m. You can check out everything they got going on Facebook and Instagram at Baba Coffee. And welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew. All right, I'll start that over. And we're back with a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today, I have a great friend of mine and someone that I've always sort of, between Oceanside and Carlsbad. I'm originally from Tennessee, but coming here, there's always people that you find yourself sort of connected to in weird ways. And I think even with Sierra, I met her a few times at Steady State Coffee. Is one of my favorite little coffee shops, but being able to check her out at various restaurants, with her playing, and sometimes I always think around here there's always like hidden gems around here. There's always people that's putting out great work, doing great work, and sometimes you just have to be in the right space to see that. So without further ado, I'll let Sierra share her story and where she is now and where everything in between. So this will be a great episode, but without further ado, I'll give you Sierra Marin. And Sarah, tell me a little bit about yourself, your origin story, and where you are now.
Hi, I'm so grateful to be here. Thanks for having me. And I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so grateful that it all aligned. I'm currently sitting in Sedona, kind of just hanging out. There's this really awesome vegan restaurant called Chocolate Tree. If you're ever in Sedona, highly recommend it. But been hanging out here today, getting some work done, and just having a mellow day before I play a show tonight here with a couple other artists. Really excited about that. And yeah, so origin story. Okay, I'm just gonna flow and see what
Yeah,
comes.
let it rip.
So, okay, so music is my path, and at least a huge part of it in this life. And right now, it's like my full throttle devotion. And I started playing when I was about 8 years old. I had a friend who brought over this little, it was like a little kid's toy, like one octave, like little rainbow, like ding, 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 like little piano kind of thing. And she taught me the Rugrats theme song. And I showed it to my parents, and they were like, oh my God, she's amazing. Let's put her in lessons. So they put me in piano lessons after that, which I'm so grateful for. And we borrowed my auntie's piano, and I started learning at Giacoletti's actually in Carlsbad. Um, and yeah, piano just became like such a home space for me to like express the unexpressible. I was a very painfully shy child, extremely shy, and didn't really know how to use my words. And music was a way for me to express my emotions and yeah, just like be in that place of catharsis and really just feeling at home, like creating like essentially like a sound healing for myself, you know? It was like so personal and deep, and I, over the years just played every single day. I would just a lot of what I would do was just like make things up, just like improvise and flow, and I also kept doing lessons and I would do recitals and stuff, but it was like for me it was like just really personal. Like I never played in bands or like in any school music thing because I was so shy. I just like it was like my thing, you know? I don't know. It was like so sacred to me. And so over the years, I started learning guitar when I was like 14. I went into lessons for a little bit and then didn't really vibe with my guitar teacher, and lessons and classical training started to feel like really constricting to me after a while, and I was like, "Man, I'm already in school. Like this is supposed to be what's the fun part for me of life." And so I was like, "That's it. I'm done doing lessons." And I kind of backed off from music in general for years and really did focus on school. There's a lot of pressures in my family and just in society, to like really go to a good school, get into all the good grades, go to a good college, and then, everything's going to be figured out for you. And
Yeah.
that was kind of like the indoctrination that I was very inundated in. Um, but no regrets because school led me to, I went to UC Santa Barbara, and I started studying psychology and indigenous studies. I found the indigenous studies minor there, and like I found a lot of beauty in just like learning about the mind and learning about philosophy and indigenous cultures and all kinds of really like I would say like oppressed cultures in the world. I took feminist studies, I took black studies, I took all kinds of sociology, anthropology classes, Latin American history, and it was so fascinating to me to learn about like the common threads. Like the way that I've always been is I like to find the bigger picture of things. And I remember my final semester in college, I took a class called positive psychology. And it was on a very different note than all the other psychology classes I would take. I would take these classes. It was a huge school, so my general psych classes would be 800 kids, and one professor on a stage saying, like very much in their ego, because it's kind of like they have to be sure of themselves to be taken seriously, I suppose, in that culture. There's not a lot of room for like, and we don't really know what this is. You know what I mean? Like speculation or open heartedness to the fact that like we don't know. Psychology is what's considered a soft science, and um, there's this tendency to want to be taken seriously, or to like our scientific method in our society is like you have to be able to prove something, right? But I feel like that vibration of proving something leaves a lot of like leaves out a lot of the mystery and the magic of like what is real. It's kind of a side note, but so I remember that professor talking about, okay, this person comes in my office, I put them on this pill and like this and that, and I remember learning about antidepressants and just being like, well, literally, it says right here statistically, when someone comes off of an antidepressant, they are more likely to commit suicide than before they even went on to it. And I would just cry to my roommate. I remember just like, what is this? And simultaneously, as I was going through college, I started going to music festivals. I found a festival called Lucidity that was in the mountains of Santa Barbara. And it was this like what you would call a transformational festival. So it was a bunch of music, but also workshops and capoeira classes and like conscious relating, meditation, like all kinds of really cool like ways of expanding the mind in community. And all these artists that just made such cool, trippy art and were like supporting themselves with it. I remember just being like, "Whoa, like this is like the reality I want to live in,"
Yeah.
in contrast to the academia. And so my final semester, I took positive psychology, which was the study of being happy. And I was like, holy, what? Like you can do that? Like, as opposed to like, okay, let's find people that are sick because our society is sick and figure out how to fix them, which was always just putting a band-aid on something and never really addressing the root. So like the study of happiness was like, it was like all about mindfulness and mindfulness meditation and doing what we love and the need for community and support, and like those being like the major factors that show whether someone's going to be happy. And that semester, I realized that the common thread through every one of these classes that really like lit me up was the importance of sovereignty. And I studied all the ways in which it had been, our sovereignty has been stripped away methodically through, indigenous peoples, Black people, like women, everyone really. Throughout the ages, there's these powers that be, not to say that in a way of like it's us and them and it's outside because we're all creating this reality together, but there's these energies that have come in that have invalidated the power of our soul's expression and just its uniqueness and the uniqueness that we all have to offer. And so I realized that semester, I was like, okay, this is my calling in life, is to re help create space for people to remember their sovereignty and their truth of who they are. And so I got out of college. I knew that in my mind, but I had no idea any action steps towards creating that. I had visions of creating like a retreat space or something like a school of unlearning where we could unlearn all the stuff that we've been like that's been thrown upon us in society. And um but I was just, going about my day to day. I started working full time, moved back to Carlsbad, was drinking a lot, was in a relationship that was really like at its end, but I didn't know how to end it at the time because I was young and in my comfort. And I didn't have any like sense of like conscious community, I suppose you could call it, like people that I felt like I could really relate to. It felt like a lot of just going to the bar and like people trying to like hook up with people and just felt so surface. It was like destroying me. And I would drink and I was having some really sketchy times because I was like, I don't feel like I can express myself or be seen or be heard. So I would just numb myself to fit in. And so this was like my first like low, like rock bottom moment. I was with my ex and we got in an argument. I'm not going to go into the details, but I was pretty much blackout drunk at that time. And he did something really disrespectful. And I drove away in my car in Oceanside. And I ended up crashing my car and totaling it. And when I came to, I opened my eyes and I was talking to two police officers and I looked over to my car and it was destroyed and there was smoke coming out of the front of it. And my ankle was like all hurt. I was like limping. And so, yeah, I went to jail that night for a DUI and didn't know if I had hurt anyone or like what had even happened. And it was like I call it like a cosmic timeout where it was like I needed to slow down and really look at my life and what I was creating. And it ended up actually being a really big blessing because I started doing these like women's classes because there's all this like stuff you have to do after you get a DUI, and
Yeah.
I had never done that. And I was doing all the psychological stuff that I learned in college, but actually applying it to myself, and it was like, whoa, this is amazing. And just, yeah, slowing down and reassessing what am I creating, what is my action steps in my life? What is my vision for my life? And me and that ex-boyfriend broke up finally. I found the strength to end that. And I ended up, once I finished all my classes and everything, I ended up hitting the road.
Hmm.
And I didn't have a license or a car anymore. So I packed my backpack and my guitar and I started catching rides up north. I had heard about a place called Mount Shasta and my spirit was just calling me there. So I was like, I need to go. And I ended up meeting some hippies that had a school bus at a festival that were like, yeah, we're going to Mount Shasta. And I was like, what? That's where I want to go. And they're like, jump on the bus. So I jumped on this bus with like six hippie, beautiful souls and like five dogs and two cats. And we all like hit the road and they taught me how to live on the road and dumpster dive and busk, which busking is street performing if you don't know.
Oh,
And
okay. No, I didn't know that.
yeah, so literally just playing your guitar on a street corner, farmer's market, gas station, whatever it may be. And I ended up traveling with these kids for a while, and I would kind of bounce in and out. I would go off on my own and did like hitchhiked a lot around the Northwest, and so every single dollar I made for a year and a half was with my guitar and my backpack, and it was with music. And I just started writing a lot of songs, and a lot of times I would just freestyle because I'd be busking for 6 hours and I would just be singing about what I saw and singing about what the world needs and what I'm like calling in or whatever it is, you know. And and that was just like such a healthy thing for me to kind of just like, you know, I grew up so privileged in Carlsbad, so fortunate, and it was like really healthy for me to step away from all that and basically just be homeless for a little bit and just like see and appreciate every single thing, every dollar I made, you know, every moment, just being in the moment and learning how to trust in the unknown and how to trust in music because my guitar became my best friend. And I always knew no matter what, I was going to be okay. And so that was an amazing part of the journey and lots of music and vagabond living. And eventually, Spirit brought me to Hawaii, where what happened was I was living in Oregon in a town called Williams for a winter and really feeling ready for like the next iteration of my journey. And
Mm-hmm.
a friend of mine showed me this video of one of my favorite musicians at the time, Tubby Love, just calling people out to Big Island for a festival called Flow Fest. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Sounds fun. But I don't know what, like how I'd get there or what. Literally the next day, my dad calls me. He's like, Sierra, do you want to go to Big Island with me in January and go see your uncle? Yeah, it was so synchronistic. I was like, yes, I would love to. I'll just get a one way because I grew up going out there with my dad and family because he loves the Big Island in Kona. And so I went out with my dad, did the family thing for a week. He left, and I hitchhiked across the island to this town called Pahoa for this festival called Manifest, which was the weekend before Flow Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And this festival was all in honor of the divine feminine. So it was like guys and girls were there all together, you know, but it was all female artists. And I just remember being so enamored by all these goddesses just like singing their truth. You know, it like made me sob. It was so beautiful because it was just like, this is what I've always known and always wanted to do. And just kind of held myself back or whatever. And so from there, moving forward, I was just like so in love with this town and this community and just being on the island. I felt so inspired. I just started writing songs, started going to every open mic I could and playing every chance I got. And I ended up staying and living there. And and that was really where like I feel like spirit and the land, the Aina showed me like, okay, this is your path. And the next weekend at Flow Fest, I had decided within myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play at Flow Fest. I don't know how it's going to happen or what, but I want to play. And I get there and there's three stages. There's the main stage, another one, and then like the little side stage. And on the side stage schedule, I looked and there was one time slot that was just open. And so I went and talked to the woman who's running it, who's now my dear sister, Alele Tiana, and was like, "Hey, is it okay if I play? Like, I'm here. I already bought my ticket, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Yeah, that's okay." And so I got to play my first set at a festival. And I think I played for like 5 or 6 people. But what I remember the most viscerally was playing my guitar and seeing the line of these trees. And they were like blowing in the wind. And it felt like they were dancing to my music. And they were like celebrating, like, "You're doing it. You're finally and that was just like such a moment of like, okay, this is what I'm here to do. And yeah, I feel like we get these humble like callings in our life where like those things that just like light our heart up, the idea of it. And sometimes it's almost painful to think about it because it's like, oh, I'm like, my soul is aching for this. But I feel like that's that like sacred cognitive dissonance that creates that fire for us to like passionately pursue what what our dream is. And I truly believe as well that our dreams exist because they are a part of this like greater tapestry of the planetary evolution. Like it's what is needed. And so my music is definitely geared towards sovereignty and activating the sovereign divinity within each and every one of us. And since then, I've been touring all over the US and writing a lot of songs. It's been all kinds of journey, ups and downs and all arounds. But I'm currently, tonight's my first show on the biggest tour I've ever gone on. I'm going to be driving 9,000 miles in the next 3 weeks. And life is a miracle, and I'm here for it. I produce all my own music now. I produce for other artists. Um, yeah, and I believe in my heart in the power of music to help us to activate our truth and our hearts, and give us those reminders of strength and wisdom that are like the soundtrack to the awakening. Like the planet is obviously in a crazy place right now, and
Mhm.
this feels like my responsibility and my greatest joy. So I feel like that's my story.
I like that. I mean, that's a lot to to really digest and take in. I do feel like there's a lot of things. Actually, you've had a incredible life journey up to this far, but there's a lot of concepts that you refer to that I do. I'm passionate about. I'm a creator myself, and always creating different designs or artwork, or even creating podcasts, all this stuff. But um, I do tell even the class, because I do a lot of coaching too, and I tell my group about those things that light your heart up, and figuring and really trying to figure that out. And that's something that for anyone, for the person listening to this episode, or will listen to this episode, is even now, like really try to find something that's gonna light your heart up. And everyone has it. I've told them before. Everyone has that little thing, or maybe those couple of things that you like. Wow, like I know I could actually do this, and it's almost scary to even like think about it, because like what if it actually comes true. What did for you? I mean, I know you had to get put into a tough situation when obviously when you went homeless, and you was going up the coast, and what do you call it? Busking,
Busking. Yep.
busking. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep the busking, and
Yep.
being, not say, like I said, you had that. I wouldn't necessarily say foundation, but it's one of those where, like, if something happened, like, you could always come back to family. But did you
True.
feel like there was a situation in your life, like, I had to go this path, like this is something that, like, I've sort of created this reality for myself. This is something that I need to go through in order to transform into something else. Or how did you sort of see that time in your life? Or maybe you just
Uh,
lost. Who knows? I don't.
yeah. I feel like I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to get out of my hometown. I had to get away from everyone that I was used to being around. Um, yeah, I think that was really the basis. It was like needing to do something completely different and like something drastic. And just like when I went to Hawaii, I think those leaps of faith have been some of the most transformative and catalyzing times in my life. And I think that it's like when we realize in life that like the most difficult situations are actually opportunities and challenges for us to expand and to see things in a different way and to allow parts of ourselves to die in order to make space for what is truly in alignment in the present. Um, yeah, I think that's liberates us and makes it so we can realize, oh my God, nothing is ever really wrong. Like everything is working in my favor for me to remember why I'm here and to assist others in doing the same. And yeah, it's like it's all just this beautiful dance, really, ultimately. And
Yep.
yeah, does that answer your question? I think I
No,
kind
no,
of.
no, that's good. That's good. I mean, like I said, I always want to hear like people's insight, especially with someone that's been in the situation you've been in, and understanding like how transformative, really get into alignment with one's passion or one's pursuit. There's things like, even with you with music, like that's always been a part of you. And at the same time too, like you got to that point to where like you knew that was like everything's gonna be taken care of. Like if you just dive in, like everything else was gonna take care of itself. And I think it's so weird. It's one of those to where like where we're at now in society, and even and even with the show, I sort of see everyone as creators, but it's situations to where sometimes we don't have that certainty, or we feel like I've got these gifts, I've got these abilities, but like how do I do it? Like where do I go?
Yeah.
What would you say to something like that? I mean, I know you, like I said, you've been in your own journey, your own path, and done
Yeah.
things a different way. Like, what would you say to something like that?
I would say what's wanting to come through is what is the worst that could happen if you just follow your dreams? And also just like coming at it with like a childlike wonder and curiosity feels really good. I think sometimes we can put expectations on ourselves with everything, and especially with our creative pursuits. But I think creating for the sake of creation and like allowing that to be the foundation is so key because and I think that's the key beyond like writer's block or whatever, it's just like making art because you love to, like, and following whatever's like the most exciting thing for you in that moment and would bring your heart the most joy. Do that. See what happens. You never know. It could be exactly what you needed to do, or it could show you a different direction that you need to go. And just like really being open to that, being open to the signs, being open to the wisdom that is beyond the mind and what is linear, because there's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, that's I do agree with that. I the more that even now there's so much that's starting to come out. So much information or just things that maybe people are interested in or maybe been interested in, and now they're starting to deep dive, or maybe more people are starting to become aware about things. It's I think it's it's really a weird a weird time on this planet, and a beautiful time too at the same time. And it's wild. I mean, we could definitely sort of deep dive for another hour or so on all kinds of topics. But I know for me right now, I've really been focused on creativity and what it actually is, or even I've actually it's actually a book I've been reading. Actually, it was something. It was on energy strands. I love reading all kinds of stuff, and the lady had referred to an author from another book, and she talked about uh, the notion of our ideals or our creations being alive, like it's alive in a another frequency, another plane, and like I said, we have these messengers like yourself and others that's able to bring that down and bring it out in the physical manifestation.
Yeah.
Um, that's something I've really been me personally, I've really been deep diving on, like, what we create is actually creating us, and
Mm.
really, loving that. I always, I think just a younger version of me, I always saw myself as like, I'm a creator or designer, and this is what I do. And now it's starting to. I think that the older that I get, the more that I deep dive, and the more awareness that I get. I feel myself saying, okay, this is like whatever I create. Like this is like we're the one and the same. Like whatever I create, like this is you creating me, and vice versa.
I
And
love.
sort of giving back, back and forth with that energy.
Mm.
What do you think about that?
I think that's beautiful. Um, as we create, our creations are also creating us. I think that's amazing. Okay, and thinking about too with that is like you could even expand that to creator, God, goddess, whatever you call it. We are created by creator, but as we create, we are also create like it's all just like, yeah, I love that. I think that totally resonates, and it's just like a living breathing entity of
Yeah. I mean, it's
create.
things that once they want to come out, those books, that music, like there's I like the things that even with you, like when you're producing or creating music, like those things, like you're built for, like you're created for to bring those things out. And likewise with any creator that's creating their own artwork or music or book or just anything, like we're being built for to be able to put out certain things on the planet. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, to me, I mean, I feel like I can be inspired by you. I can be inspired by other artists and creators and designers and feel like, wow, that was like that's what came through them. And then that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could be like, and I know with any creator, we could be our own, worst critic at times. And I find myself sort of peeling back from that a little bit, being easy on myself now, and really just creating for the joy of it. Not to say there's like always things I could change about stuff, but always in that act of like, okay, what needs to come out through me, and
Yeah.
for whatever purpose, I leave that up to the creator.
Yeah.
But that's something I've really been dialed in on. As I create all these or build all these different things. Like this is something that it needs to come through me. And until then, I will keep absorbing all the knowledge and everything I need for me to be the really to be the vessel that I need to be able to put that out on the planet. So
Yeah. That's the word I was thinking is vessel. We are vessels. I
yeah.
actually did a song recently with a brother Jay Brave called Vessel.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. The chorus, it's like, I am a vessel, here to live in service to a new earth. A doula for this planetary rebirth. The dark I had to face to find my own worth first. I am a vessel, embodying the love I find my family. Tribe remind me who I can be. Reflection of the Most High awakening. I am a vessel.
Nice. I like that. I'm about to put that on the bonus content.
Yeah.
Listeners can't get that. I'm putting that on the bonus content. That's nice. I'm always amazed with musicians and songwriters and like they just like come up with like they're always like on point or on key with something like man, I wish I could do that. That's so cool. That's beautiful.
Oh.
Beautiful. I know one song and like I said, the more that first of all, congratulations to your big tour. I've been following your journey for a while now and sort of see you grow and see you going to different events and festivals and so congratulations on the new tour. That's awesome. And for anyone that gets a chance, if you get a chance to see her in the area, if you're in Oceanside, Carlsbad, Incident, all the surrounding areas, you're like I said, you're missing something if you don't catch one of her gigs. But coming back, it's like I said, always definitely amazing sort of seeing everything that you're doing, everything that you're putting out, and really, I mean, even for you putting out really high vibe, music and things that's going to help nourish us, and I think people still don't realize the power of music and what it does to our body, even to our DNA, to our heart. How would you be able to elaborate on that?
Sure. So, I mean, how far back do we want to go? Like they say, what is it? In the beginning was the word. To me,
Yeah,
it's like all of creation is a song. Like this is one song. Everything is vibration. Everything, sound, physical matter. It's all vibration. It all has a frequency, right? And so everything is created by vibration, and music is a way where we get to consciously shape vibration for a certain intention. Like we can infuse our intention into the vibration of the songs we sing, the tones that come out, the words, the chords, whatever it is, the emotion, and that will emanate. And vibration, is received just like through water molecules. Like water molecules are changed. If you look at the work of Masaru Emoto, his
mhm.
work with water molecules and playing different kinds of music and saying different words and projecting different frequencies to the molecules, they respond like so incredibly like clockwork.
Yes, it is.
And we are made of water, so we have the opportunity to either infuse ourselves with the news or like doom and gloom kind of ideologies and stories and words and drama, or we also have the opportunity to infuse ourselves with peace and with uplifting messages of empowerment and hope and faith. And that's how we create our reality, because that's what we see is what we get, right? So we have the opportunity with music to really create realities, I think, because it's so easy for people to hear a good song and tune into the message, like anything from Bob Marley, like "Don't worry, be happy," or "Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right."
Yeah.
And that I feel like has probably saved lives, that song, and tuning to that frequency, to the signature of that song and what his intention was and where his heart was, it lives beyond him, and it has the opportunity to help the whole planet to remember, oh my God, it is okay. Like, I'm safe right now. Like, we're here. Like, I don't have to be caught up in um, manipulation of the masses and media, which that's all by design, and that's what takes us out of our power. So
Yep.
we get to yeah, there's so much coming up too, I feel like technologically, with the power of vibration and using vibration to heal,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah, that's yeah, I've got Dr. Moto's book here at in my
Nice.
home, and awesome book. I have that few things highlighted in that, but I do, even you know coming from that research, and I talked to my my wrestling group about it, and it's always I work with a lot of fighters and stuff like that, so getting them in the mindset of feeling like, hey, it's like it's not just physical. I tell them a lot of times, they're like, look, that's probably the easiest thing. That's the byproduct. Like, you have to work on your mind. You got to work on your spirit.
Wow.
You got to work on your heart, and getting them in the process. And I know, it could be one of those where we got a lot of guys in there. Sometimes it's tough they're all guarded. And so I talk to them. Actually, we have a hard workout, but I do that to let the resistance down, and then I can talk to them,
Mm,
and allow them to be able to hear what I need to say to them, and
cool.
so it's just one of those where we're finding ways, even with like we're always finding ways of putting out that message, putting out that signature, that vibration, and trying to heal. Man, that's the big thing. And so it's always I think it's always cool sort of seeing, talking with people that's like minds. It's always weird. I mean, I always say just the calculations of even you and me even connecting on this podcast. I don't know what the calculations would even be, but coming from two different areas. As I said, I'm from Tennessee, been out here for about 10 years now. And, like the probabilities of us even connecting, and even us sort of being on the sort of the same wavelength is I don't even know what the calculations would be on that. So it's always cool. Like you like you said, you see what you get. If you start to connect, or starting to reach out, or wanting to connect with something deeper, you'll find deeper people. You'll find deeper relationships. You'll
Uh,
find meaning, purpose.
Like,
But
how deep do we go with ourselves
yeah,
too?
yeah,
And emanates out and reflects back to us. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's yeah. Sometimes that could be scary. Sometimes that can that can be probably the thing that changes our life and changes future generations too.
Truth.
Those are things I always think about. I always feel like I know my wife. She's a little different, and she was like, "Why are you always concerned?" Like I'm always concerned with like legacy, and always concerned with, and I don't know. It's one of those where well, I've always been a huge love mythologies, but I've always like wanted to know, like, 100 years from now, would something that I say to somebody change the directory of their life, and where does that go?
Yeah.
Where does that domino effect go? Those are things I'm always interested in. You know, and just being a good human. I'm not saying I don't. I'm always doing something. I can do dumb stuff, but I'm always trying to be as authentic as I could be, and showing up, and just really just being myself. I found that when, like you said, once you lean into what you truly believe in, and you lean into the God-given talents, that the creator-given talents that you've been blessed with, everything always comes out fine. Everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so right now, I mean, um, what things inspire you right now?
Uh, I would say what inspires me the most right now is the earth, Mother Earth, like nature, and just like the deep wisdom that lives in nature. I went last night and camped at my favorite spot here in Sedona, and it was a full moon, and it's this beautiful river spot, and yeah, I think there's so much wisdom in the planet. You look at like the wisdom of the indigenous peoples of the earth, and it's like they understood so much that has been forgotten that needs to be remembered in order for us to really even like survive on this planet.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a lot to learn there. And yeah, what inspires me too is just the potential that we have right now to make this world better and create a better world beginning within. So like that inner work is just so crucial, so big, so important. And I'm just excited to see, like, I know things are crazy right now, but I feel like, with every death there's a rebirth, and that's just the never ending cycles of nature. And I think, yeah, that is what's happening on the planet right now, is there's a death going on, but it's also a birth, and birth can be scary too.
Hmm.
So the old ways are falling away and they're coming up really big, but there's also so much magic and beauty being um, birthed and nourished and cultivated. And that's really going to be anchored through community and through our relationships and through our connections with one another. And I'm just excited to continue weaving this music and connecting with different communities all over the country and hopefully soon all over the world. And yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Um, Creative tips. What are some creative tips, or a tip or tips that you can give to our audience?
Okay. Um, I think I kind of said it earlier, but like creating from a childlike place of wonder is so big and so fun. Like be creative because it's fun. But also, creativity, like a lot of my songs that I feel like are the most impactful came through in like really hard times too. So it's like art is also a way to alchemize pain for us, and
Mhm.
I think it's a really powerful tool in that way. I would say just, yeah, creating because we're alive and we're creators, creating for the sake of creation, not with any expectation of getting anything from it. And trusting that and playing around. And like maybe if you have one certain kind of medium and way of creating, try something else. Like try drawing, try painting, try dancing. And you can make art mandala with rocks in nature. There's so
Yeah.
many things we can do, and it just feels so good when we do. Um, yeah, I guess those are my tips. Oh, and another thing that I often tell people, because I do one-on-one support too for musicians that are wanting to open up their voice and step into their musicianship and learning, like tricks about like the industry and releasing music and all that. Um, is so many people I know have all these songs that they're just sitting on and they're not releasing them because of the inner critic or perfectionist or whatever it might be. But what I always tell them is that the word wants to be written, that there is something greater than us, greater than our insecurities, greater than our fear. The art and the impact that it has the potential to make on even just one person is greater than the fear that we might have about what could go wrong.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Those are some cool tips. Definitely, definitely leaning in on that. Yeah, we sit so much on our just things that we are gifts, things that could save us, that we just don't release out. Yeah, that's really good tip. So before we sign off, I'm actually going to ask two more things before we sign off. But I've been starting to ask this for a lot of my guests, but what would be if you could go back, if you had the power to go back to your inner child, your younger self, what would you tell her right now?
I love that question. I would tell her, don't try to fit in. You're different for a reason, and it's all going to become clear. And it's so special, and you're so enough. Your voice is enough, your ideas, your visions. Don't try to fit in. It's not what you're here to do. There's work for you to do. And so much of that is just in loving yourself.
I love that. I love that. And then just some ending words of wisdom before we're done with the podcast. Just something that would resonate with audiences when they get a chance to hear this, or maybe they're just maybe this episode pops in at the right time for them. What's something that you need to for what maybe matter of fact, what are some things that people need to hear or maybe relearn about themselves?
Okay. Oh, beautiful soul, you are here for a reason, for so many sacred reasons. This world is so blessed by your presence and your uniqueness. Your embracing of your uniqueness and truly remembering to love yourself is the greatest gift you can give this world. You are enough, and you got this, and we got this. How about that?
That's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Um, so how can people reach out to you? Maybe get, if people want to connect with you for potential gigs, collaborations, maybe, partnering up with you for your musician mentorship. Like, what's the best way of connecting with you?
So I have a website. It's www.sierramarin.com. Very simple. Also, and that has like my email and everything on there. But also Instagram, Sierra Marin Music is a great way to reach out. It's on Facebook. You can find all my music on all streaming platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Music, and it's just under Sierra Marin.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, this was another episode, great episode with me, with Sierra. Thank you for sponsors for this podcast. Baba Coffee, Smuggling Good Vibes, Good Coffee, one of my favorite coffee shops in Carlsbad. Another one is Elevate Coffee Trading, that's based in the Dallas, Texas area, extracting hope with every drop. Please get a chance of checking them out. And then my arts partner, Studio Ace Arts, that's in Oceanside, California. Um, Community partnership, helping to provide workshops, classes, events for kids all the way up to adults, and really trying to discover their inner child with creativity. So check out Studio Ace Arts whenever you get a chance. So those are my sponsors, and that's what I got. So also too, if you want to support this show as well as future episodes, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/the creative brew. And for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support this episode. And now I'm starting to add in some more bonus content and just other things from past guests. So get a chance, please go in there, support any way you can. Once again, hey, thank you, Sierra. If you, like I said, I'm gonna say it again. If you don't get a chance, please check her out. She's on everywhere you listen to your favorite music, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music. Check her out. You don't know what you're missing. She's got a gig tonight. I'm gonna let her prepare, let her get ready for that. And good luck to the tour. Yeah, I'll be releasing out this episode here pretty soon. So hopefully this helps spread the word about what you're doing and how you're using music to heal this planet. So thank you once again. This is the Creative Brew. Be creative, stay inspired.
All I know is hard work, really nothing else. I resort to smoking weed, yo, cause nothing helps. Called to hold me up, told them loot the sample up. We gotta come together now, cause I had enough. The time is now, there'll never be another one. It's a second lap.